In this video, I'm going to be covering how to properly use the Viral Launch product discovery tool. And whether you're using Viral Launch or not, this is going to be relevant to you. It's going to be relevant if you are using a web application to search for your first or your next Amazon FBA product, okay? One of the biggest issues I see new sellers make is that they find a product that looks non-competitive, they source it, they ship it, create the listing, launch the product, and then realize, wait a second, as they're launching the product, there are all these other sellers that have already come in and that are coming in, and this market just gets flooded with very similar products. And I'm going to show you how to avoid that. And the biggest reason that I have found, this is every single time I've asked a new seller, yeah, we had a product, but it got super competitive. And I asked, where did you find the product? They all say the same thing. Oh, like I used a web app, whether it was, Viral Launch or Jungle Scout or Helium 10, it doesn't matter, right? So I'm going to show you how to properly use web apps overall, and specifically the Viral Launch product discovery tool. So I hope you're excited. But first, really quickly, as you're watching, if you like the video, I'd really appreciate, and YouTube would really appreciate, if you gave the video a thumbs up, commented below with something insightful, or you can just say, good job, Sumner, or Sumner, you did a terrible job. I don't care. Either way, helps the algorithm. And also subscribe. And lastly, if you take a look in the description, there's a lot of great additional free content, as well as other paid content that's really, really powerful as well. Tools that I use. You can book a call with me one-on-one. I can give you help that way. So yeah, a lot of great stuff in the description. Check that out, and let's go ahead and actually get into it now. So as you can see, I'm already here in Viral Launch. So to get to where I'm at, to the product discovery tool, go ahead and log into Viral Launch, go over here to product discovery, click on search, and that'll take you to this page, okay? There are two main sections that I personally like to use when looking for products using Viral Launch. The product, so this is really the true product discovery tool, and there's also keyword. Keyword's personally my favorite. This is one of my favorite tools. Viral Launch and Helium 10, by the way, are both of my favorite tools. And I have links to both of those in the description as well, in case you want to, if you don't already have a subscription, you want to use this for your Amazon business, I'd highly, highly recommend it, because obviously I use it. Yeah, what most people do when they use a web app, okay? And the theory behind this is you want to not do what everyone else is doing. You want to do you want to do things differently, right? You want to launch a different product than what everyone else is launching. What most people do is go through the category section and they choose overall baby. Let's see what else. Health and household, industrial and scientific, kitchen and dining. Let's see. Pet supplies, sports and outdoors, toys and games. Not automotive. Handmade products, home and kitchen. I think tools and home improvement slightly. I don't know how popular that is. But overall, this is what the majority of new sellers are taught and what they type in. Okay. And this is what so if you use the same criteria, you're going to find similar products. It doesn't matter what tool you're using. So what I like to do, okay, and if you're a new seller, by the way, here's my biggest advice to you. This is what I would do if I went back and did things differently. I would not be sourcing consumer products. Okay, there are two types of products: consumer products and products for businesses, right? B2B type products. Okay, so think about like office supplies, right? For example, I was looking at a product. It was a small, like bubble. It was like a bubble wrap case for a specific type of lens, and they had all these different variations, and that they were generating, like significant revenue every month. It was like, I want to say it was like $26,000 a month in revenue, based on the estimates that I use using Viral Launch and Helium 10. Really, really powerful. So the B2B market is it's about 2.5 times larger than the business or the consumer market. So business products, there's more demand overall. Because business products, like what I just described, like a bubble wrap kind of folder, that's not really cool to tell your friends. And because it's not cool to tell your friends, a lot of people don't launch those products. They're like, what am I interested in? What do I want to do? What is cool to me, right? And then they launch that because they think it's cool, right? Don't launch cool products. Launch products that are going to make you money. That's my mindset, right? And and what I found with business products on Amazon specifically, and you can look at like just some examples. Not that these are good products, but examples like printers or ink cartridges, or like envelopes for mailing and things like that. So those are just some examples. B2B side, there's more demand. There tends to be less competition just because less people are aware or going into this market, and because there's just so much demand and so many options. Less competition, right? So less competition and high demand, more so than consumer goods. So that's the mindset that I do. If I'm ever using a product a product or a web app such as the Viral Launch product discovery tool here in the product section, what I like to do is not choose what everyone else chooses and choose things like office products, industrial and scientific, what else? Tools and home improvement, automotive. Yeah, I would just get started with that. So these are the categories I like to look at. Yeah, there is some overlap with what other people are looking at, but this is really going to show me products that everyone else isn't looking at. Okay, so that's just my recommendation to you. You can do whatever you like. You can still use some of these same categories that other sellers use, but I'm just telling you just to be aware and just this opportunity that a lot of people aren't talking about or a lot of people aren't thinking about. But if I went back and redid it, I'd probably build my brand around office products specifically. I don't know where I differentiate, but that's probably what I would do. Okay, then you can go to over here with monthly sales, monthly revenue, review count. So yeah, with review count, maybe I'll put in for this example 200, minimum price. Let's do like 12. Monthly revenue, yeah, and then let's just go ahead and show products. So we're just gonna go ahead and show products. You can enter in whatever you like. The key is there's no magic number to input for criteria. Just kind of get some general criteria and just refine, decrease, increase numbers, include certain input and exclude certain data. Sorry, it's really early. So, all right. So yeah, and then we see some products here, and I'm not going to go completely in depth into this. If you wanted an example of a product, this is an office or a business type product that I found using this method. It's dodgeballs. So you can go ahead and go onto Amazon, type in dodgeballs, and analyze that category using, whatever tool that you have, whatever Chrome extension that you have, or just with your own eyes. And you'll see that it's a fairly high demand product with relatively low competition. Now, I forget why I was looking at the product. I didn't end up going with it. First of all, I'm focusing on building my brand at this point, and that just doesn't fit in my brand whatsoever, even if it's a good potential. And there's something about, like, I think all the sellers were Amazon or something weird like that. Just something kind of stood out to me. But overall, it could be a good example. I'm not telling you to go launch the dodgeball product, but just as an example, go to Amazon, type in dodgeballs. That's an example that I found instead of me just going through this entire list and wasting your time. So yeah, that's how I use all web apps, specifically the product section. I'm going to also now show you the keyword section of Viral Launch. This is part of the reason. This is why I like Viral Launch and Helium 10, because they kind of have similar functionality, although they are different enough to where it makes sense for me to have both. So the Viral Launch keyword section, what I really, really like about this, okay, and I use this a little bit differently, is I'll go ahead and select all categories, okay? And what I do is I refine by keywords, okay? I always fill this in, right? I usually fill in something into all these categories, but especially the keywords contain category, okay? So what I do, this is just something to think about, right? If you're like, I really don't want to launch office products, I'm really not passionate, I would hate that, it just, that would suck. Okay, well, something else you can think about doing, just another kind of strategy that I've used and I've actually found a lot of success with, is before I start product research, I'll write down a list of things that describe me. So this could be like hobbies or for example, like maybe like millennial, entrepreneur, paintball, like Christian, tea, urban gardening, like just, random. So just things that may describe you, okay? And you write a list of that like in a Google Sheet or Excel. And then with that, if it makes sense, I'll include that keyword into this section here, okay? And so, for example, we could do silicone. That would be an example. And again, just maybe, eco-friendly. So what else is related to eco-friendly? Like silicone, reusable, things like that, right? So you can think of other related kind of synonyms or related keywords to that. And then again, fill this out. I'm going to do like 150, price 15. Again, don't just copy and paste what I do here. I'm just using this for an example purpose. Yeah, that sounds good. So yeah. So now we're going to look at all products that meet our criteria that contain the word silicone. So in this case, right, even if you're looking at the same categories as everyone else, because you're refining by the keyword, you're going to see very specific products. And again, I really like this method. I even just use keyword research tools. I type in that keyword to find other just keywords on Amazon that contain the word silicone, just to give me an idea of different silicone related products that are selling on Amazon. So this is a really great way, whether you're using Viral Launch or using other methods, is to kind of start with your interest. And it's not really about, I'm not a huge fan of like your passion. I mean, I want you to, to enjoy your life and be passionate about what you're doing. I care, right now more about profit, because that ultimately increases my happiness more than, the product itself. But what's great about this kind of method is that if you're finding products relating to what interests you and what you're passionate about, is that's going to give you an edge over a lot of other sellers. So when you're looking at ways to differentiate, for example, I like playing paintball. I play paintball probably like a couple times a year. So not super huge fan, but I like it, and I play it not more than the average person. And I would know, looking at paintball products on Amazon, with my passion for paintball, that, oh my gosh, this is terrible. This could easily be improved. Or like I order the product, I wear it. Maybe it's like a vest, it's a belt, something like that. I could tell if it's what could be changed or not. I have that insider knowledge. Okay, so this method is going to help you do that as well. Okay, so yeah, talked enough about that. Go ahead and enter this, and we're just going to see some examples. Again, I should probably refine more, but this is just an example, so we'll see. And with this, obviously, you're not going to really see the image. It works a little bit differently because Viral Launch is going to show you a keyword instead. But I would just go through things that interest me. I may not even open it right away. I might just have like a notepad, and like silicone vacuum. It is kind of interesting, but probably reusable silicone bags. I've seen those before. I think at one point these were fairly low competition, but now it's pretty saturated, and so on and so on. Silicone utensils. Facial cleansing, yeah, nothing electronic. Oh, so you know what? I might go back and actually unclick electronic. There's actually some that I would unclick here, and you'll see that as you go on. I wouldn't necessarily select all of these, but yeah, I'd deselect that, wherever electronics, if I can. It's all alphabetized, so I should know that, and so on. So I'm not going to go through it, but yeah, you can kind of do that on your own. But again, so if you're using a web app, to kind of summarize everything, if you're using a web app, first, I recommend, if you're using a tool, use either Viral Launch or Helium 10. I like to use both. I'll have links to those below. If you are using a web app and you're using the product, you're not refining by keyword, but just kind of have the basic kind of product search, I would recommend looking at categories that nobody else is looking at, and those include industrial and scientific, office products, automotive, and tools and home improvement, among others as well. But those are really some big ones that I really like. And if you do have the ability, like with Helium 10 or Viral Launch, which is why I like them, and you have the ability to refine by keywords, then feel free to kind of look in multiple categories, but really hone in on a specific keyword that relates to you, that you're interested and or knowledgeable about. Okay, so yeah, and also look up dodgeballs. That could be a good example of a product, because I know there aren't a lot of YouTube videos showing good products, so you can just kind of look that up for yourself. In my opinion, that's just kind of a good example of overall criteria in terms of reviews, potential monthly revenue, profit margin, things like that. So yeah, I hope you guys found it helpful. Like I said, if you did, I'd really appreciate you giving me a thumbs up. Comment below with any questions you have or what you found most helpful in this video. What is your method for product research? I'd love to know. We're always learning from each other. So do that, subscribe, and check out the description. Really appreciate it. And as always, thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.